Welcome, everybody, to the next edition of 1,000 Little MS Things. My name is John Rapatopoulos, and beside me, as usual, is my beautiful wife, Claire. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How's your day been?
Hot.
Got a bit of a star-studded lineup here today, haven't we?
We've got a big group today, yeah.
I'd like to introduce Radha Mitchell, who some of you may know. She's just freshly off the set of Neighbours. No, that was 30 years ago. No,
Well,
she's done a little bit since then.
Uh-huh.
And Radha obviously played Laura, Claire, in the movie Take My Hand that came out recently, and be on Netflix on the 30th of December. So that's very exciting. Very nice of her to join us, and she's brought along with her Bianca Wallace from the set of a film they're filming a film they're doing at the moment. I won't say the name, but it is it's close to here, and it sounds exciting.
It is exciting.
And so Bianca, welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having me.
what I'll do is I'll start this podcast by heading straight to you. Now, you were diagnosed in the last 5-6 years with MS.
It was 2018, October 2018.
And do you want to give us a little bit of background as the journey from where you were in your life at that time and what was happening?
Right, I was at the accounting firm,
Yeah.
studying a master's degree in marketing at the time, working full-time, studying uni full-time, just burning the candle at both ends. Generally, yeah, right. It always happens around that time, doesn't it? Yeah, I was go, married. Yeah, and it was just kind of a chaotic existence at that time. June 2018 is when my symptoms appeared. Hindsight's amazing though, because obviously they were there long before June 2018. But that's when it really came out. That's when I had the attack that took out the right side of me. And from there, all hell broke loose, really.
Okay.
So,
and
and hasn't stopped since.
Your whole life changed.
Yeah, my whole life changed, and now I live this life. I'm an actor now. I completely transformed myself.
How to?
My life. I got myself divorced. I did all the things.
Like a good old-fashioned divorce.
Yeah, it was empowering.
But what I heard, sorry to just maybe focus on the wrong thing here,
Tell me.
you were studying accounting?
No, I was studying marketing whilst I was working in accounting.
And now you're an actress.
Now I'm an
And This is
actress.
after you got MS.
So I became an actress because of MS.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
So you thought I just want to do what I really want to do, or what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
Counting might have
I lost my whole right side. I couldn't walk. They weren't sure if I was going to walk again. Like, they just could not tell me. You know, Claire, what doctors are like when it comes to MS. They can't really tell you anything positive.
No.
Well, mine didn't. So yeah, it was very, very terrifying time. And it was, well, we got to just take it each day. We don't know what's going to happen. You're having attack after attack. It's aggressive. Your leg keeps going. We're not sure if it's going to worsen. We're not sure if it's going to get better. We just don't know. We don't know. It's really, really scary to hear at 25, 26 years old. And I just had, I had those really huge, epic life moments, laying in bed, staring at a wall or the ceiling or whatever it was that day. And you just kind of epiphany, everything starts spinning. I'm like, I've always wanted to act. Why didn't I do it when I could? Why didn't I do this while I could? Why didn't I travel more? Why didn't I do this? If I lose my leg, what?
No, I'm curious.
It was all about travel. It was all about the film industry, and it was something I wanted for so long.
I can relate to that.
Right? You want it. You're scared. You're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? Oh, what will people think? You have all these thoughts that stop you in life. But the MS was that little blessing that knocked all of those fears straight off me. And I just went, what the heck do I have to lose right now? Except for feeling a little bit of pride in myself if the MS does take over, and it does take me, at least I can say I tried. At least I can say I did it.
I lived. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard Richard Pryor say that.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, Mike Willis, he asked him, to MS, he said to him, blessing. He said, really? He said, it made him stop and think.
Maybe stop thinking.
Made him stop and think.
All right.
It does make you stop thinking too, though.
Yeah, I was thinking
Well,
to
it
start
does.
doing, you
But
know.
him saying that, let me know.
It's
He
true.
was, he was mid-40s.
What
did
about
it- what did it do
how
for
did it
you,
affect
Claire?
I mean, yeah.
Each way, so
Well, I feel I should know this because I've
Just made a movie
really
about
gone
it.
deep into this.
How about I'll take the question off you. So
I in fact started or was it?
Yes, so you're, I mean, we've spoken about this before.
Yes.
This is a different forum.
It
for
is.
Was
so-
there a feeling of there's things I want to do that I need to do?
No. Because
Those are the
I was
kids.
diagnosed, and I guess the film's not real. The film was a film,
Yeah.
and real life was different to the film. So in my case, MS, I was perfectly healthy, perfectly fine, and then I went to hospital because I couldn't walk very well. And I got diagnosed on the spot. So basically, nothing worked. Everything finished working. My eyes went, my legs went, my hands went on the same day. So it didn't take months at all. It took like an hour. It done really fast. So there was no time to sit and think about epiphanies. I just kind of went straight to being in hospital and being in a wheelchair and just really sick straight away. And there's no time spent wasting around.
But then you were, as we know, that in the same as the film, you were fired.
Oh,
But,
yes.
but then you had, so in the film, Laura, played by Radha,
Yeah.
had 3 children already, then diagnosed.
In the film,
in,
yes.
in real life. So
That
you
wasn't
were,
the case.
you were
Obviously.
fired, but then
I was let go.
let go.
Okay, better word.
And then we'll explain what happened. Then what happened?
Let go, and then I was 28, and I thought, what do I do now? I can't work after I've taken all this time to get my job, blah, blah. And then I thought, what do I do now? And I learned to do things like paint, and then to speak French, and I learned to do various things and play golf. And then I thought, I had babies, and I couldn't have babies because I was too sick.
That was the focus.
That's focused. And we got better for a year, and they said, well, now you can have babies. Babies. When I was 31, I had babies, or baby 31, 33, 35, 3 babies.
Lots of babies.
Lots of babies, yeah, 3 boys. And then 35, I got really, really, really sick. And I couldn't really, that was the end of that whole process. And then I just,
That was kind of. It seems to me that you were struck by this desire to have the babies. Like most people would be afraid to do that. And
well,
you-
yeah, I was told not to,
Mhm.
too sick to have babies. And I'm stuff that. Now I'm having I want a baby my entire life. I
Yeah.
thought, now I'm sick. I can't work. I'm too sick to work. And I thought, what do I do then? What do I do with it? I have babies. I'm too sick to have babies. But eventually I got better. I had babies then. So that's okay. But it took a long time.
And is it true that when you're pregnant, it actually halts the symptoms?
Yes, when you're pregnant, your MS, a lot of people know this, a lot of people, MS, it just goes on hold. Just stops. Pregnancy is beautiful. When you're pregnant, it's just the best feeling ever. No medication. You can't take drugs when you're pregnant. So you have no medications and no side effects. And then you get pregnant and you feel it just so well and so healthy. And the MS goes to sleep elsewhere. So you're 100%, you feel $1 million. Once you have babies, though, it gets worse. So when the baby's finished,
What about breastfeeding? Is that?
still gone. It's still
gone through that
ahead.
period.
It's still that period. Then I thought for a while there, I think I should be a surrogate my entire life for babies.
Yes.
I thought what a great life it would be.
I've had my doctor, because obviously
do
you
it.
have to ask all these questions,
You do.
right? Yeah. And I asked why, because specifically I wanted to know, why does the MS turn off? It can't just simply turn off, because if your MS is turning off, why aren't we looking into that for some kind of like medical reason? What is it? And she said it's actually a lot more simple than what it seems, and it's that your immune system completely shuts off because when you're growing a baby, it's a foreign object.
From body, yeah.
And so your body's immune system
Can't
has to
fight
just
it.
turn off because it's trying, it knows I can't reject this. This is a human being.
Well,
And-
yeah, interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
they could put something in you that's foreign, something
exactly.
benign.
That gives you like the
gives that
hormone
effect.
of some sort that tells you you're pregnant or
There was
something.
actually
yeah.
there was actually a study being done in somewhere in the UK, I think, or somewhere. They're doing a study where they're actually looking at the pregnancy model as a way of avoiding MS or not getting an attack. So I think it's actually Daphne. I think it's doing that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Daphne. It's
Yeah,
Daphne
yeah,
doing that
Daphne.
sort of process now. They're going to actually look into the pregnancy sort
She
of
was talking about that.
phenomenon.
Yeah, that's right.
They're going to use that as a new therapy. I think.
But
it's
the problem
awesome.
being that after you have the baby, it comes back in force.
Comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
To sort of to kick you down. When you're down, it goes,
Yeah.
got you again, off in the
Yeah.
head. Yes, true. So when I had 3 babies in a row, and then I got really, really, really sick.
What happened exactly?
No, the babies are fine. I got my
had all now 3 kids and sick.
I was there after 3 babies. I was so sick, like hospital for months and kill myself, and that's just the worst sick ever. So it's a really bad attack, like wheelchair and just paralyzed really.
Your attacks have come over the years, like every 2 or 3 years, every 5, and the next biggest one was when it was after Mark died, wasn't it?
Yeah, when Mark died, my husband died then. My first husband died, and that the attack that came then was probably the
6
worst.
months later, wasn't it?
About actually 9 months later, I had an attack. Then it was just probably the attack to end all attacks. It was the biggest one, and that basically put me in how I am now. So I'm like, I can walk. I can still walk, which is great, but just my speech is funny to tell right now. But I
We started the
forget
podcast
everything.
At the worst possible time.
Yeah, and this time of day is that my and a glass of champagne did not help. But at this time of day, my brain is very slow and a bit thick. But I forgot what I was saying.
But that's the same with me. Come this time of the day. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Or we were saying, how are you at this time of the day? What happens at this time of the day?
The worst.
And we were like, our time schedule is kind of
identical.
exactly the same. Come like 7, 7:30, 8, everything just falls
shuts
out
down.
from under me.
Yeah,
And you know, in the evening,
yeah.
And my fiance, he becomes my brain and my thought process, and I kind of lean on him a lot for everything by that point,
Brain
you know.
work.
And it's every single day it just hits. Sometimes you can push through a little bit later. Maybe. If it's you know, it happens.
What about like your social life? What about a dinner party or something like that?
I have to plan so strategically when I've got some kind of evening event. And are you the same, Claire?
Totally, yeah.
It's you. Like it's crazy, and Yo has to help a lot through that day. You know, like I can't walk my dog that day because that's taking too much of my energy. I have to try and sleep, even if it's for like 30 minutes. And this could just be a really simple dinner with like 2 friends, and it's these things that, and over time it gets more and more difficult. And I find that I used to be straight up in the morning, straight up, shoot out of bed. Like, woo, life's on, let's go, even with MS. And then come the afternoon, out. Now I'm finding everything's just getting harder. You know, mornings I'm waking up and I'm kind of going, oh, my body is just, I really have to, you know, coming to work, I have to wake up an hour and a half early before I even leave because I have to spend so long just getting myself into some kind of functioning state.
Kind of ready.
Yeah.
How many days shooting do you have to do on this film?
I think I'm doing 6, 7 maybe.
Okay, but they're big,
in total.
big
just
days.
say
Over 3 weeks.
It is an action movie.
It's action.
I know. I'm so impressed.
This is like,
Yeah.
don't be impressed with me. Be impressed with Radha, because what she's doing is day in, day out, full on sauna
Pretty
suits.
grueling. She comes to set on the first date. We can't say anything about other.
We can't say
Oh, you
anything
can
about
say
it,
a little
but
bit.
it's really
You
hot.
can say a little bit.
35 degrees.
And we're wearing
so
what is basically the Queensland version of snowsuits.
Okay.
And so, you know, thankfully, they've built us ice vests and they're stuffing ice vests
guys
underneath
like athletes,
us.
essentially.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you
for me,
are.
but
When you're working out for long periods of time, you need that. You need that.
it's tough. It's really and I feel really guilty saying this in front of Radha, who's just going so hard all day, every day. Considering I've got like 7 days over 3 weeks, but it's tough. It is really, really tough.
So, Bianca, I want to, how about, so when you were diagnosed, tell me a little bit about family and friends and how they responded and who was the best, who was the worst?
Everyone was the worst, really. I had a really
Awful. Okay.
I had to try and change that about the script. I was like, you can't do that.
Everything's bad.
It was, look, you can laugh now. At the time, it was not funny. I was married. I've spoken about it now a little bit publicly. I've touched on it a little bit, but it was abusive. He was not supportive. When I had my scans done, they also found that I had a degenerative disc disease, but mine had herniated into my spinal cord. And I needed surgery in 3 weeks. And they were telling me, if you don't, you're going to be paralyzed from C5 down. So not only was I finding lesions on my brain and all of this stuff, I had to go have spine surgery within 3 weeks. It's say, you know, I don't know how to say this kindly. He wasn't supportive. My sister went into denial. They were my only family in Brisbane. Everybody else, I've got family in Cairns, Victoria, and Brazil. So everybody was kind of here, there, and everywhere, and just not around.
Just because I think it's a lot to do with just not a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, I think, look, my sister, I think she was just in denial. I think she didn't know what she, you know, we had a very hard talk a long time later. She realized about 5 months after my diagnosis that this was real. She had her moment, and it was when she tried to help me walk, and I kind of crumbled under her, you know. And I just remember the look in her eyes, and that was the moment she realized. I could see it in her eyes. She finally caught up, and she was great after that. But I was missing sort of 5 months of anything. I had no one around. It was getting worse and worse and worse. I had no support from my husband, and that's the person you think that is going to step up for you. You think they're meant to. They signed this piece of paper. You remember? They signed this piece of paper. They said they were going to do in sickness and health, and you know they signed this contract. But you know you learn. I learned from that you know marriage isn't necessarily great for everybody. It's not actually. Yeah. You know.
We found out. We keep finding out new things about family and friends as we go along now, even, don't we?
We do. Yeah, we have. But
some are better than others.
Everyone's different. Everyone copes with things differently.
Yeah.
Behaves differently. But I'll leave that one there for now.
No, we can get stuck into it now. We can stand it out.
No.
We've got some real things that have been very disappointing, you know. And we've got some family that's been really disappointing. And you know, and it's just the way it is, and you've just got to.
World punches.
Yeah, it's part of. Let's just be honest. It's part of the reason we're here.
True.
Part of the reason we left the busy city, and to get away from shit.
How do you feel in those moments? You know, for you personally, and also for you, John, like watching someone who's suffering and then seeing that kind of treatment. Like, how do you cope?
Not well sometimes.
Let down.
Good question. I think when we got together, to me, Claire is pretty much the same as she was when we got together. Her condition, just same person, but her condition is pretty much the same. But you know, sometimes, I mean, in times of stress, she's fallen quite a bit. We've had some falls, and we've been travelling a lot, obviously, to make this film. We've sacrificed quite a lot. And in those tough times, people have shown themselves. And it's been some really disappointing, and some are like, I'm so glad you're in our life. That's just what happens. What do you think? Everyone's going to be happy? And it's just because it's an inconvenience, and people like coming over to your house to have a social event, and everything's just...
It makes people uncomfortable, and they don't like that feeling.
They don't like it. So it's because like, oh,
don't be around that.
We know that. It's like, oh well, fuck it. You know, we're getting on. Not getting on. We're racing to mid-50s, and you just get to that stage in life, and you just go, you know, I haven't got time for this shit anymore.
I think it's kind of harder for the loved ones to witness it, because when you're living it, I've experienced it as well many times, and at first it's really tough. But you kind of get used to it. I don't know if you're the same, but you kind of, your skin thickens a little bit. Yeah. But your loved ones, they're but they, you know, like for you, I don't think you're ever going to be okay when you see something like that. And that's what I've noticed, you know, there's this different layer. You know, when you're living it, it's different. You kind of have to accept 100%. It. You have to deal with it. But I had my big epiphany life moment, and everything changed from there. MS is a blessing and a curse to everybody who comes across it. As I'm sure you know, Claire.
You do, yeah.
I think that it's one of those things that, you know, I talk about MS a little bit now publicly, and I think I confuse people so much when I say that I feel lucky to have got MS. Because I don't feel lucky to have MS. You know, I feel lucky to see what MS brought out of me as a person. You know, I just didn't have a clue who I was before it. had no idea. You know, you live life blindly, wandering around, thinking you're doing all of these things. You know, I'm studying at uni for something that I had no interest in because I thought I was meant to. I got married at 25 to somebody I knew was absolutely terrible and painful and abusive. And why did I do that? I don't know, because I thought I had to. So, you know, it rattles you.
What I'm hearing is that this sense of, it's almost like a sense of mortality.
I'm getting worse and worse and worse. I'm having attack after attack after attack. And my doctors are not convincing me that everything's okay. So it was one of those. I thought I was going to die. I genuinely believed I was going to die. I thought I couldn't Google MS. I didn't want to know anything. I don't think I typed in what is MS into Google for about a year.
Because you weren't ready to process it.
I didn't want to know anything. What I knew seemed so overwhelming and so terrifying that I thought, I don't want to know about my death.
But somewhere in that, you were also changing everything and
because I
looking for
thought
things you're passionate about.
Exactly. Everything changed from there.
Have you met a lot of other people with MS?
Not a lot of people.
Okay.
In Australia, not many people, because it's obviously not as common here. In America, you know, I live in LA now, so you come across it a little bit more. Actually, a lot more in America for whatever reason.
There's 500,000 people in the US, so it's compared to 35,000 here. So
Do you think it's the diagnosis, or is it actually there's less MS? Or is it just the stats of the population?
I think it's got quite a bit of stress.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
We do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
These are just theories, but it is, you know, environmental. The food quality is not so great anymore. You know, all of
what
these.
the hell are you doing there, girl?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm doing there. I'd be very happy to move back to Australia in a heartbeat. So
Yeah, diet. Well, yeah, there's all those books.
even though Australia's hot and MS, especially my MS flares terribly in the
I thought it was
heat.
better in the heat, no?
But
It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, some people get worse in the cold, some people get worse in the heat.
Right.
I get worse in the heat through and through. So
You don't care.
I feel like, yeah, you know what? I'm in a better place these days. I went on my journey. I did my healing. I did the really
Your
deep,
research.
hard shit that took a lot. And from there, I found the MS was slightly more manageable in the sense that I'm not flaring as badly anymore.
There or here.
Everywhere.
Or just in general?
Yeah, in general.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was flaring every 2 weeks. I was going into a flare every
part
2
of
weeks.
the
And just
psychological stuff that you were processing, you think?
I think so. You know, as you know, MS, it's really affected by stress. And so when you haven't addressed your traumas and all of that deep bubbling shit that you don't necessarily know about, that takes a lot of work to get to, how do you know what's causing your stress when it's completely subconscious to you? So it's about digging all of that up as well and facing it all. And it's not easy, and doing it with MS is even worse, but you know.
So do you think,
So you get a barometer,
Bianca, do you think,
strong indicator.
Yeah, seriously.
have you thought sort of 5-10 years into the future how you could be, how your condition could be? Does that worry you, or are you more focused on here and now?
It used
I know
to.
you're probably focused here and now, but are those scary
It
thoughts?
used to worry me.
Yeah. So you've had those thoughts of,
And you know,
In 5
I
years
have
or
weak
10 years,
moments. You
how
know,
am I
just
gonna be?
because you heal doesn't mean that you're fixed. You know.
yeah,
So I have my weak moments, and I have moments where
you're
you
scared.
know something will. Yeah, it is scary. It just is. You know, and no matter what happens, that doesn't change.
No.
Oh, that's the point. Actually, we just met last week or something,
Yeah.
and she mentioned that she knew about this film, but hadn't seen it. And I know now she has seen it. And she said, "I
I've
didn't want to
seen it
say
now.
it's going to be triggering for me."
Yeah.
And so
I did.
Was it?
It was a little bit.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, because you know I've also written a film about MS and the experiences of domestic violence with a chronic illness diagnosis. And there were a couple of moments in there where you said, I just want to know what's going to happen to me. And that was after the diagnosis. And that is word for word what I said to my doctor as I was sat down and diagnosed. And I was alone. I didn't have somebody with me through my diagnosis. I had no one around. And so I was there. I kind of saw it coming, obviously, because there was talk of it for a couple of months, but no one was really sure what was going on. But I got diagnosed by myself, and it's reasonable to suggest that this is multiple sclerosis. We're going to get you on treatment immediately, and it's day by day from here, and we don't know what's going to happen. And I just sat there shell shocked, and he sort of stopped his his spiel, and he said to me, "You look upset."
You think? Yeah.
I went, "Do I?" That's weird. I'm actually really happy about this.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I was spinning. Everything was spinning. I don't think I knew what was going on. My ears are ringing. My heart's pounding. I'm going to die. I'm going to be in a wheelchair. My body's going to crumble. I don't know anything. I don't know what is MS. Everything's going a million miles an hour. And I'm being told, you've got to go treatment, but it's not going to actually fix the illness. It just might help. And you're being told a lot of stuff.
Overload.
Yeah. And he said, he stopped. Clearly I'm sat there looking like a hot mess, very upset. And, you look upset. And he said, "Can I answer any questions?" And I kind of thought on that for a second, because for one, my brain's gone, and two, I don't know what to ask. And I just kept saying, what is going to happen to me? And that's all in that moment, when you're at your most deepest of despair moments in life, thinking that nothing's ever going to be the same again right now. That was yesterday, and that never exists for me ever again. And all I wanted to know is what is going to happen to me. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, and he couldn't answer that. And
that's the hardest bit.
You don't, and I still don't know that. And I just kept asking him that question over and over and over. Yeah. And in the end, he said, "Bianca, I would have to live inside your brain." Because I was like, I just kept saying, please tell me what, I just need to know. I just need to know. Yeah. I just wanted him to tell me something that would calm my heart or my mind or anything. I wanted to hear one positive piece of information. I wasn't getting it.
Does that resonate, Don?
Yeah. You don't get much positivity at all. There's nothing positive at all.
You have to look for it yourself.
Look for your own sense of joy.
Back to your own life and say, well, I can't do that now, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Which is what you did.
You do, yeah.
And that's how you live now. That is what you do. That's why you have those moments of, because you don't know, as you know, what is going to happen tomorrow.
No.
And you can wake up and that's it.
Well, I can
You're
only
really
relate,
out.
we're all sort of, as you said, in the 5-0 lane kind of thing. And so that's when you start to be like, oh, things change. You don't stay in this perfected state forever.
No.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a very slow journey.
Slow burn.
And it's almost imperceptible and you can ignore it. But this feels just like an accelerated
version of that.
kind of version
I
of
feel like everybody
facing
goes through
everything.
this. It just depends on what situation it is that you're presented with, and everyone's is different. And I honestly say this often. I say, like, difficulties are difficulties, period. Like, it doesn't matter if it's an MS diagnosis or if it's, menopause or if it's, you broke your leg. If that's the hardest thing you've ever been through, that's the hardest thing you've ever been through, period. And that's relatable to everybody,
Well, I mean, we're all ultimately, this is probably too philosophical, but we're in a state of leaving our bodies at some point.
Yeah.
So
We're all
this
gonna
is
die.
just like facing it like almost like right now.
Yeah, and then you
And
go, what are you going to do? What do you want to do then before you die? What's going to happen?
Shit.
Forces you.
Yeah. What like and you have to ask those big questions, and sometimes people don't until it's too late. And so I got lucky because I was quite young when I got to ask all of
And
those
that's
questions.
what we were, I don't know if because we're re-recording some of this podcast, but that's where we were before. It was like, wow, that's the blessing part that you suddenly were able to be that motivated, facing that much fear, to turn your life around.
Yeah. It's it is kind of crazy. Like when you think about it, and when you think like, holy shit, I actually did that because of this MS diagnosis. And then you overthink and you go, would I have ever done it if I didn't get diagnosed? Would I still be in an abusive marriage? Would I still be stuck in accounting or working in marketing now, or doing
Would I be
all
living
of
in
these
Byron
things?
Bay
with my loved
Yeah, exactly. Would I have met the
Who
love of
knows
my
what would
life
happen?
again?
Choices.
There's choices. There's like a fork in the road.
Who knows what would
where
happen?
you go. We choose to go.
Well, we thank Felicity, our close friend who
Yeah.
put us together.
Put you back together.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to end it
On
there.
that note.
I would like to thank you, Bianca. That was amazing. Thank you. You're a very strong person. You seem
Thank
a
you,
great
guys. No,
attitude.
thank you guys. Thank you
Yeah.
for putting all of
I'm
this
glad.
together.
Thank you, Radha.
This has
Again.
been really
And,
beautiful.
Hope to have you back on again sometime, both of you. It's
Yeah.
been great time. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.